You're listening to Dark Conversations,
where we talk about the things that keep us up at night.
where horror, paranormal, and crime collide together. Nothing is ever quite what it seems.
Tonight, we're stepping into the dark, so turn your lights off.
Get comfortable and
Let's dive into the abyss.
So the Lindbergh kidnapping happened in 1932 to a 20-month-old child named Charles Lindbergh. Oh no, Charles was his father. Charles and his wife Anne, their son was kidnapped. Apparently Charles was a national hero. He was the first solo non-stop flight across the Atlantic Ocean in 1927.
Yeah, he's an aviation icon, and people called him the Flying Fool.
Somebody broke into their home and left a ransom note. They paid the ransom, and then the baby was never returned.
Back up. In 1930 is when he had his baby. And in 1932, that's when the baby was sleeping in his crib, and he was taken from his room. But no one heard anything or didn't see anything. But at the scene of the crime, the ransom note was left along with a footprint and a makeshift ladder. Do you have that down?
I don't have that down. I do have down 2 months later, the child's body was found not far from the house.
At 10:50 at night, that's when the nanny alarmed the parents, and that's when they called the police, and everyone was out searching for them.
I think the parents had something to do with it.
Later on, there was another ransom note for $70,000, and then they had another one that got bumped up to $100,000. 1 month and 12 ransom notes later, they agreed to a meeting, which is where that money comes in.
I don't have any of that information, and I am so confused.
What are you talking about? The guy's been doing ransom notes saying you need to you need to give me this money so I can give you your baby back. And eventually they got the money together and they agreed to meet.
Why was the baby's body was found?
Anyways, they get a note giving them a boat in Massachusetts, but when they got there, it was not there, and the baby was not there either. Like, no one seen either of them. So a year later, a farmer was digging and found a tiny body. Everyone assumed it was the baby that was stolen, and the body was found 5 miles away from the house. Did you have that?
Not far from the house. Not far from the house. I do have that. It says it right there. Not far from the house. I don't have the exact distance. Not far from the house.
Okay, what else do you got then?
I have, in 1934, a German immigrant named Bruno Richard Hauptmann? Heptaman?
I don't know. I didn't write his name down for a reason.
Was arrested after the marked ransom money was traced to him. He was convicted of the crime in 1935 and executed in 1936. This case led to the creation of the Lindbergh Law, making kidnapping across state lines a federal crime. And then I think the parents helped.
The first suspect they had was the housekeeper.
I think they're all in on it.
After she was getting questioned, she got let go, and she was supposed to come back and talk to them more about it, and she ended up committing suicide.
Mm-hmm.
They suspected a German man. So in 1934 is when they got a call about the gold notes, which is the money they did. And those were traced to that guy.
Bruno Richard Hauptmann.
That same guy worked in a carpenter's warehouse, found the same wood that was used for the ladder in that office, or in that warehouse, I guess. They caught him and put him in jail, and then 3 years later, he was executed.
Which is a really quick execution.
Now, I don't think so. Back then, executions were quick.
Yeah, I guess nowadays executions...
now it takes forever. For what reason, I don't know.
I don't know. You're committed to... It's stupid.
They are saying it wasn't him, but with pressure by the townspeople, he was pretty much framed. The police didn't want to open his case. They didn't want people to look at them in a bad way and start questioning their tactics. It
just makes them sound guilty. I feel like it was...
Well, even if they open the case now to kind of go back, they said that some of the documents is altered and missing. Some of the evidence is too rotted away.
The thing with this, and I'm actually going to talk about it later in my deep dive, is the media has good and bad influences on cases like this because it feels like the police rushed. They were getting pressure put on them by the world to get this solved because there was a 20-month-old baby that was. With him being a famous, the father, Charles, being a famous person, at this point, like 3 years after he did his flight, his fame was probably diminishing and he wanted to feel that again. That's why I think they had a part in this. And I think something just went wrong and they accidentally killed the baby.
I don't think so. Because if that is true, then there'd be more coincidences happening where he's still in the media very.
Well, I mean, wouldn't you like want to pull away from the media if you accidentally killed your child?
Not if it was blamed on someone else.
Fair point. I don't know. It was. I'm glad that something good came out of it. The Lindbergh law making kidnapping across state lines a federal crime. Like, that's a good thing.
But why is that a crime? Or why did they come up with that if the baby never came?
Like, why? Like, that's another thing. Like, he was 5 miles away from his home. Like, he didn't cross state lines.
See, one theory is that the kidnapper went to grab the baby, accidentally dropped him, and he ended up dying. They think either immediately or he survived just a little longer, but it wasn't much longer. And so they panicked,
but
buried it.
I agree with you. Like, why did a law come out of this if the baby never technically left the state?
I guess because of that stupid ransom note that said, hey, I'm in Massachusetts.
I mean, it's not a bad law. Like, I'm not saying that it's a bad law. It's a good law to have. It just doesn't, like, the dots aren't connecting on why they were like, yeah.
Yeah, that's all I have of him.
That's all I have. It was not a very hard-hitting, oh my god, there's so many twists and turns happening case.
So you're pretty much saying that they need to be more exciting?
No, that's not. Dang it! There's just not a lot to this case. It was very, like, open and shut, done within a few years. There's no...
So it needs to drag on.
No, they don't need to drag on. I'm just saying, for a podcast point of view, it wasn't that exciting.
Okay, guys, make sure it's exciting next time.
God! That's not what... Oh, you know what? I'm just going to make myself look stupid in every single one of these. Because that's what's been happening. One of the episodes, I accidentally made it sound like I thought it was okay to beat everyone else's children but your own. Don't do that. Don't beat any children. Please.
Okay,
the next one, I was like, if you've done a crime in the past 20 years, you shouldn't bring it up now because it's over and done with. It's still okay to talk about that. Just...
You're digging yourself a hole. You just need to stop. Okay,
moving on.
Our next topic was movies based on true events. Yes. Now, what do you got?
I got a few. I did The Blind Spot, which is based on a real-life NFL player, Michael O'Hare, and his journey.
What did you say it was called?
The Blind Side?
I don't think you said that the first time.
What do you think I said?
I think you said Blind Spots the first time.
I might have. Now that you say it, I think I did. I think it's a TV show about crime. Anyway, The Blind Side. Dang it!
Mm-hmm.
Dang it! The Blind Side is about a real-life NFL player, and it's his journey from homelessness to becoming a professional football player with the support of his caring and loving family, which there's a rumor going around that his family wasn't actually that loving and caring towards him. They just used him for the money.
Okay.
All of this is alleged for entertainment purposes only. We've decided that we're going to start saying that,
So, what's your next one?
Hacksaw Ridge. It's about a U.S. Army medic during the World War II. He refused to carry a gun. He went to war, but he was like, I'm not carrying a gun. I don't want to do that. But he ended up saving like 75 wounded soldiers without firing a shot once in enemy territory. The movie has, what's his name? I'm in love with him. Give me a second. I gotta.
Okay, well, I actually had a lot written down, but I decided to only talk about a couple.
Andrew Garfield. That's his name. And then I have The Passion of Christ, which is the story about Jesus' crucifixion. So you should watch those. They're pretty good movies.
I'm sorry, The Passion of the Christ is very boring and I can't handle watching it.
I don't want to watch it ever again. But it is a good...
Now, if you want a story that's like that, then you should watch The Chosen. That actually is really good.
I mean, The Passion of the Christ is very boring, but it is a good depiction of what.
Yes, that's why if you want a one that's actually good to watch for you to be like, oh yeah, I can keep watching this,
Mm-hmm.
The Chosen. I think, if I'm correct, I think they did like extensive research on how characters are supposed to be, and that's how they made the characters.
Is that the one where with the sassy Jesus?
Yes.
Because I want to watch that one because I see it on my TikTok all the time. I'm like, I like sassy Jesus. That's how he was in the Bible.
They did their they really did their research for this. What I have down is The Exorcism of Emily Rose, which it's actually not about a girl named Emily Rose. It's about a girl named, I probably didn't write her name down. I did not. Annalise something. She ended up going to so many doctors. Well, first off, they couldn't find anything wrong with her. They didn't understand what was going on. Or her mom decided to get a priest. Well, after a while of doing so many, she went to another doctor and she was like, oh, you're kind of showing signs of epilepsy. See, I don't know how well the movie goes in with the actual events. She's had 6 demons inside of her, and listening to the real recordings, I hate listening to that. She ended up going to college on a scholarship, and she was super excited and everything. She went, she ended up meeting this boy, but like some time passed and she's like, you know what? I think we should just break up just in case it starts happening again. I don't want you to be involved. He was like, nah. And so he stuck by her side and pretty much until she died. She went on with doing exorcisms because that's what she wanted. She said that God gave her a chance to either let him take her or to keep suffering. And she said she wanted to keep suffering to show people that this is true. This is a real thing. And then she ended up dying from not eating and drinking anything. My next one, I guarantee you haven't seen. And this one is kind of hard to watch, but it's called The Girl Next Door. There's 2 versions of it, but it's about her girl and her brother. I think it's her sister. Her parents were carnies, and the carnival was about to leave, and they saw the opportunity to get a job, and go with them. So they asked their neighbor, has kids of her own, to watch their kids, and they'll send them money, to support them. So she's like, okay, yeah, that's fine. Well, she ends up torturing the oldest one, and she would lock her in her basement. She would let the neighborhood kids do anything they want to her. It became so bad that they didn't even know she died until they thought she was faking it. I don't remember if they went to go put her in the bath or if it was right after they gave her a bath. Oh yeah, the movie is brutal. The one that plays Velma in the Scooby-Doo live action,
yeah,
she plays in that. I've seen both versions. I just can't remember the second, I can only remember one version, but that one is true crime. She did get in trouble for it happening, but the police didn't find out until the girl was already dead. They've heard rumors about what was going on. They came and did checkups, but everything at the time looked fine. One of those type of cases.
Yeah, those cases are the worst.
And I got Deliver Us from Evil. But Deliver Us from Evil, I'm going to assume you haven't seen it, huh?
I feel like I have, but I'm not for sure.
So it's about a cop. I don't think he believed in anything. I just think he was a non-believer. After a while, he started believing, and he turned from being a cop to, I don't know what they call it, but he started doing more work for churches and stuff. He might have stayed to be a cop. It's been a long time since I've seen the movie.
We should watch it.
But it's based on a true story. This guy really, and then I actually have 2 more, and I had a lot more, but
she watches more movie than me, a lot more.
So my next one is the Amityville Horror.
Oh yeah.
When it comes to supernatural things, it's a 50-50. Some people believe, some people don't. Mm-hmm. So I believe a majority of that happened. Maybe not all of it. Mm-hmm. And I think it's just a weird coincidence that these people got shot. Someone moves in and they start having weird experiences. So I'm pretty sure something happened. Throughout the time that the Amity house has been, a lot of the residents have said, oh no, nothing has happened. I don't know what you're talking about. But there is that few that kind of came out and was like, yeah, I had some things happen. But they didn't come out until years later. But I don't know which owners of the house, but whoever it was, they changed the windows from being like, I don't know what you call it, the weird half circle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The circular window thingy that looked like eyeballs sometimes.
They changed it to square windows so no one would recognize the house, which you're going to have to be dumb if you can't recognize the house with the windows.
It just got a little, it's like Superman. He like puts on his glasses and everybody's like, oh no, who are you? I'm like, it's obviously Superman.
I still would have liked to go to that house. And the last one, I mean, I can give some honorable mentions, but the Zodiac.
I had that one too. I just didn't write it down.
It's pretty spot on. It does follow a guy that investigates. He's pretty much a paper person, but he tries to do the investigation because he's so like caught up in it. Mm-hmm. Now, my honorable mentions: the Amy Fisher story.
I don't know what that is.
We just watched it.
Oh, that. Yeah, never mind. I do know what that is. Because I made a comment about it being connected to what my deep dive is, about the media influence on... I'm very excited about my secret stuff.
I will say that I don't know anything about the Amy Fisher case besides the movie.
Watching that, I feel like... So we recently read a book called... What is the name of that book?
It's called Dead Girls Don't Talk.
Yeah, Dead Girls Don't Talk, where it was like, there was a victim, then the killer, and then the truth. And I really feel like that case is the victim, the killer, and nobody's ever going to know the truth.
Well, that's how the book felt, so.
After reading that book and watching that, it felt very similar.
Where it's a he said, she said, and you just have to come up with your own conclusion. Well, our next topic, I'll let you go first with your secret draw.
My secret draw is just a true crime.
Well, it's better than mine.
No,
weirdly, I'm actually... This whole page is just everything about it. And it's not even a full page.
I have 3 pages worth of crime.
Okay, I'll just go first then.
Because I told you, I'm really excited about this, but I've condensed it down because there was a lot of things. So, like...
You know, if you come up with way too much stuff, you could make that just part of your deep dive.
That's what I did.
So what I drew out secretly was the same... You wrote it. It is the lake... To be honest, I don't know how to say. Is it tarpon? Okay, it's this lake monster that lives in Florida. And when I try to look up the videos, only fishing videos came up because the monster's name is exactly the same name as the lake.
Oh.
Yeah. So thanks. The only information I could find on this stupid creature was on Cryptids Wiki. But it lives in the lake, and the first sighting was in 1993.
Oh, so it's a recent one.
It's a sea monster in Florida with low population. The lake tarpon, simply, or is it a monster or is it a big fish? But
probably a big fish.
It's a lake monster. It resides in Florida's 2,529 acre lake. It is a local legend describes this 15 to 30 foot long monster as consuming more than his fair share of the local wildlife. Through most reports of this cryptid are tongue-in-cheeks, but explanations are alligators, manatees, or a very large fish. That's it. It doesn't describe what it looks like or anything. It doesn't really describe what it eats, what it does. But that's it. That's all I got.
Okay, you ready for my deep dive and my last true crime?
Yeah.
This is called, there's actually 2 things, and it's connected to one of your favorite authors. I think he's your favorite author, and if I'm wrong, I'm sorry. The woman's name is Mary Rogers. A story written by Edgar Allan Poe was inspired by her called The Beautiful Cigar. Mary Rogers is born in 1820. She grew up in New York City, and she worked at a tobacco shop owned by George L. Morgan. I have no idea why he's important to this, but his name came up a few times, so I just wrote it down. Like, that's it. That's all you get, just his name. And he owns the tobacco store. Her beauty and her charm earned her the nickname Beautiful Cigar Girl. She was a minor celebrity in New York society. In early 1841, She was romantically linked to several men, including sailors, which, like, gossip. Like, they were gossiping about her because in 1820 or 1840,
She's technically a prostitute.
Yeah, she's technically a prostitute. The local newspapers described her as a woman whose presence could brighten any room.
Brighten any room?
Brighten any room. So, like, she was very famous in New York society. But in July of 1841, she disappeared. She randomly just disappeared from her shop. The newspapers went wild because the woman who brightens any room disappeared. They couldn't find her. So they speculated it was elopement, personal crisis, or foul play. Obviously, it's a true crime. It's probably most likely foul play. The authorities interviewed a bunch of people about her, including a sailor she was linked to romantically that they thought she was engaged to and running away with, but that didn't happen. On July 28th of 1841, her body was discovered floating in the Hudson River near Hoboken. Her body didn't have any sign of trauma. She had no marks on her, no nothing. They couldn't even find out if, like, she drowned. Like, there was nothing wrong with her. Like, she was just dead.
I don't know, I feel like they don't do a lot of looking into anything.
This caused a lot of media coverage because she was slightly famous. They didn't know what happened. It was a little mystery, like one of the first big mysteries. I realize I didn't write this very well, so I'm trying to, like, remember some of the stuff. But the one thing that I did write is public obsession grows. Some compare her fate to Gothic tales, adding a literary creepiness to a real-life mystery. That's why in 1842, Edgar Allan Poe became fascinated with this case. And he wrote The Mystery of Mary Roget, a sterilized story in Graham's magazine. Poe directly analyzed newspapers' accounts of Mary Rogers' disappearance and death, treating the case almost like a puzzle for his readers. So he turned it into a little crime thing where, like, you could figure out who did it. A whodunit story. The case was never solved. Like, nobody knows what happened to this woman. And it turned her death into a legend. So I said, for me, media coverage has always been a double-edged sword to follow true crime cases. From newspapers in the 1800s to today in our podcast. We can actually hurt cases by putting out misinformation if they're a cold case. We can push a narrative onto people that isn't true or correct if we get wrong information. But on the positive side of that, media can help solve cases. There's been many cases where having media coverage is what solved that case. It's what pushed it into being able to be solved.
Yeah, because you have some random person watching and be like, oh, I know information.
Watching that story about that one girl and what the media did, Amy Fisher, whatever, I think that was her.
Yes, Amy Fisher.
And watching the media be like, well, she couldn't have done any of this because she's a whore. And there are real consequences to things, and you can't just push your opinion off onto somebody else. You need to stop and consider every fact before you determine what you think is the truth. Like, even with us, don't take everything that we say as pure fact, because we're human. We are going to get it wrong. We're going to miss something.
Everyone misses everything. They're not physically there at that point. It happens.
So don't take everything.
Everything's a he said, she said.
Everything is alleged.
I mean, that's true, yes.
Unless you are personally there, everything is a legend. A legend. Take things with a grain of salt. Don't not do research, because there are other sources of information out there than just one person. You have to have actual facts. You can't take opinions. Opinions are not truth. Facts are truth. Opinions are what you believe, but it's not fact.
Yes, but they can still have fact, but people still believe that's not true.
Do not take everything for fact. Do your own research before you form an opinion. Because these people in New York in 1841 thought that they knew one thing because this woman was so great and so pretty and so famous for And Jack the Ripper. Everybody just assumes one thing without researching another. And the Zodiac. And all of these cases, there's coverage that sometimes the facts get lost.
Back then, media wasn't as big or widely looked at because they had. Nowadays, we have cameras, we got phones to watch, we got the TV, we have the newspaper still, but that's...
It's been a minute since I've seen a newspaper, but I'm pretty sure I could walk into a gas station and find one.
Yes, they're free. Not those ones, not the good ones that you see every day. Yeah, you get the shopping one, I don't remember what it's called, but
the catalog.
Something like that.
Shopping ads for the local Kroger. We don't have a Kroger.
We don't. Anyways, or you can go to, I think they're $2 something for newspapers. Didn't you work at a Dollar General? They have newspapers.
Oh yeah, I did. I'm the one who put them on the shelf every day. Or every Monday and Tuesday.
Every week?
Yeah. Because we had a Sunday paper and a Tuesday paper.
I don't pay attention to it.
I don't either, obviously. I think this is going to be a short episode.
Well, I could talk about my deep dive. I know it. Okay. For our next one, the one we're going to be talking about.
I remember it was another kidnapping, the green lease.
Yes, it's a great green lease kidnapping. You believe this conspiracy 100%, and you can do more than one. It's okay if you just do one.
And what are we going to do when all of our pools are gone? Are we just going to go back through them? Going to buy another?
You can just write what you think we should talk about and put it in the thing. And
no,
just
I meant
deep
those.
Dive. These?
Yeah, what are we going to do when those
I have more of these. They're just not true crime.
Okay.
What'd you call this?
A drawing?
I think you said a pool.
I think I did too.
You ready?
Yeah.
What unlikely item did Richard Russell steal in Seattle in 2018? A. Tank. B. Plane. C. Cruise liner. Or D. Space shuttle.
I'm gonna go... Can you read them to me again?
Tank. Plane. Cruise liner.
I'm gonna go tank.
Space shuttle. I'm going with a plane. Ready?
Because if it's a space shuttle, I'm gonna be like, how?
It's a plane. You want to know why I guessed that?
Why?
Because my uncle builds planes in Seattle, Washington.
I knew Seattle was in Washington. I read Twilight.
Wow, Nessie. You want to bring up Twilight? I'll bring up Twilight too. I'll just start calling you Nessie then.
That's my name.
No.
Oh, it's Locke.
It's Locke. You told me, don't call me Nessie.
Don't call me Nessie. You nicknamed my daughter after the Loch Ness Monster. Well.
Okay. You ready?
No, because I lost my paper.
Ready?
Yep.
Okay. Please like and subscribe.
Hit the bell so you can get notifications when we post our episodes.
Thank you for listening to Dark Conversations.
Have a good night and
keep your darkness at bay.